Well, hello and welcome to another episode of the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday. Thank you for joining us today and giving us some of your time. Today we're going to have a wonderful show. The basic subject for today is going to be alkaline foods, or making your body alkaline, as of course I'm sure many of you have seen on the internet. A lot of information in magazines, sports magazines, and a lot of things on health sites where they're always talking about the alkalinity of the body. So we're going to get in that today. We're going to get into the science behind that so that you will have the ammunition to be able to see through some of the tricks and things that are on a lot of these places where you go for information. Jacqueline and Denise, thank you for tuning in. So we're also going to have the Mainstream Minute today, where we'll be talking about stress and how that affects your weight. And then we will get to the questions if you all have any. Okay, so let's get started. We ask God that he would give us the peace of mind and the ability to have an open mind to gather new information, and then you put that information to use for our benefit. And I ask that I would be a vessel without ego, without any of my own in problems to hold the information back, so that you can get the information that your health journey can become what it is that you want. So without further delay, let's get right into it. Thank you all for coming today. Lawrence, Cheryl, thank you all for coming in. So the first thing that we'll get into today is the Mainstream Minute. And let's take a look at what they got on MSN Health. You see that? Stress can actually cause you to gain weight, and here's why. And in this article, they kind of go into some of the things that are typically in the information in the internet about when you are stressed out. And that's most of it right there. You see that? Carby, fatty, junk foods. And so that's the main point that I want to make today, is that when you see headlines like this, and they tell you that stress cannot actually cause you to gain weight, that's actually not true whatsoever. The reality is that when we go and we buy foods, we go to grocery stores, or we go to a convenience store, or we go to a fast food place or a restaurant, we don't have the correct mentality in place. And that is that these people are in business to make money. They're not in business to make you healthy. They're in business to make money, so they do whatever it takes to sell you something. So when you go to the store and you say, man, it's been a hard day today, I'm kind of stressed out. I got some work I got to do Friday, and I'm behind already. Well, when you go in that store and you buy a bag of chips and you start eating those chips, that's the type of food that will cause you to gain weight. But it's not the stress that made you go buy a bag of chips. It's your mentality that made you go buy a bag of chips. And why a bag of chips? Because the scientists that produce foods for us to eat are very wise. And they have broken down a lot of snack foods and a lot of junk foods into the type of foods that deal with the type of stress that you are dealing with. Shirley and Jay, thank you for tuning in. So when you go and you get a candy bar and it has some peanuts or some other nuts in it and you're crunching, you're dealing with a certain level of stress, a certain type of things that are going on in your mind. And the crunchy or the salty or the sweet or the creamy or the bready thing that you're eating is dealing with that stress. But it's not solving the stress. It's just giving you a temporary fix. And so now you start using words like I'm craving this, or I gotta have this, or I need to do this. You start using the words that come with necessity, but are really just, from an emotional perspective, something that you go to as a temporary fix and not solving the problem. So no, the reality is that this right here is totally wrong altogether. Kenyatta, appreciate you coming in. Stress cannot cause you to gain weight unless you don't know the correct thing to do when you have stress. If you have a good exercise program, stress can't cause your body harm, because the benefits of exercise balance out the negativity of stress. So that's one of the things that you have to do. You have to be very wise. You have to learn the right information, and then pick the right type of foods. Because let's be honest, if you are stressed out and you want to chew something in order to help with your stress, if you do carrots or celery, you can't gain weight eating that, right? You go get some nicely steamed broccoli and some cauliflower and crunch on that. You can't gain weight with that type of food. So no, you're not going to gain weight because of stress. You gain weight because of stress when you go to the wrong things, eat the wrong foods, and keep a sedentary lifestyle. Now, another thing that was also on this same website today was about balding. And balding is a lot associated with stress as well, but it's because of the hormones. The hormones that are produced in our bodies, when they're overdone, they cause hormonal imbalances. Like me with these bald areas in my head. But what I'm going to do, if God says the same, is I'm going to prove that you can reverse this. A lot of these articles in here, when they talk about stress and balding, they say that there's nothing you can do about it. Well, I'm in the midst of trying to prove that is wrong. So y'all keep tuned. I'm going to be working on it. I already have a few hairs growing in. You probably can't see it because this camera won't be that clear, but y'all keep watching, keep coming back. And I believe I'll have something to you to show. And I know some of my brothers that are on here are going to enjoy that because they got that bald head too. So we'll see. Okay. So let's move on into our subject for today. And that is this alkaline reality that, most of us here, it's all over YouTube. It's all over the internet. Everybody's talking about keep your body alkaline, keep your body alkaline. And I want to just dispel first many myths, and then we'll get into just the whole specifics of the food and how the body works and all that. So just understand today. What if you just big boned it? Yeah, I got you. Okay. I'm gonna get to you in a minute, Jay, with that question. That's a good one though, because a lot of people do think that they're big boned it, and that's the reason why they gain so much weight over their lifetime. But after I finish with this program today, I think you all will have a tendency to see how you can evaluate things a lot better. So, when it comes to pH, there's the opposite ends of the scale. And so while I'm looking at the screen, I want to just point out some things to you all so we can get just a basis of where we are on a pH scale, and then we'll get into some specifics after that. So if you see all the way over here to the left in the red, see where my finger is, Brother Joe, Khalid, thank you all for coming in. You got battery acid all the way here to the left. Y'all can see that. And you got stomach acid. So it's not very known to a lot of people, but if you take stomach acid out of your body and put it on your own body, it'll eat a hole through you. And some of us have had that experience. If you've been sick, for whatever reason, and you throw up, you get a burn in your throat. You get a burn in your esophagus that hurts for the next 2 days. Some of that is all that violent, pushing that your body does to get stuff out. But some of that is because of the acid burning when it comes out of the stomach, because it's not supposed to be out of the stomach. So then you see there vinegar and orange juice. That's at 3. You got tomato at 4, black coffee at 5, urine at 6, water right there at 7. You got seawater at 8, baking soda, indigestion tablets, ammonium solution, soapy water, bleach, and drain cleaner. That's like, the stuff you put down in your drain. Marva, thank you for coming up. Laverne, thank you for coming in. So I want to dispel one thing just from the get-go. You do not want your body to be alkaline. I'm going to pause there for a minute because I want everybody to hear me. You do not want your body to be alkaline. You want your body to be neutral. That's where the body lives, 7.5. So acidity is not good for the body, but nor is alkalinity. What would happen if you drank bleach? What would happen if you drank some Drano? What would happen if you drank ammonia? It would kill you. So no, you don't want your body to be alkaline. You want your body, as I said, to be, I messed around and hit the screen. You want your body to be neutral. Okay. So I'm going to get into another picture real quick and we'll look at this from specifics. Okay. And I just wanted to do this one so you can kind of see those numbers at the top. So as you see gastric acid over there, Reggie, appreciate you coming in. Gastric acid at 2. So when you eat food and your body starts breaking that food down, you're using gastric acid at 2. Now, if you look over here where you see hand soap or human blood or household bleach, that's from 7.4 human blood. That's where I just finished saying we live, right? But up there by hand soap and household bleach, that's where our body is near when it makes its bicarbonate, which is the balance for, I think this would be a better one, baking soda and indigestion tablets. Now, if you have heartburn, you take an indigestion tablet. What is that doing? It's balancing the acid. If you do baking soda, you're balancing the acid. That's where the body, right in that 9 to 11 range, is where the body produces bicarbonate out of the pancreas in order to balance your stomach acid. So, a lot of times people are talking about eat alkaline foods, eat alkaline foods. This is an alkaline food. That's an alkaline food. Well, a lot of them haven't done any research in order to prove that that food is an alkaline food. One in particular, a lot of vegans eat, is kale. Kale is not an alkaline food whatsoever. But yet you'll have plenty of people out there saying things like, this is an alkaline food. Now, why is it not an alkaline food? Because it takes too much to digest that. And the more you digest, the more acid you have to make. So in that, I'm going to pause for a minute, getting specifically into the foods. And we're going to have to get into a little science. For anybody out there that really doesn't like the science aspect, I would like for you to just bear with me for a minute, because talking about the body and alkalinity, Aaliyah, Super Lilo's here. Thank you for tuning in. It's very important for you to understand all the aspects of the body that produce alkalinity, because it is the total body. As I always say, there is no way to say that my body is going to be alkaline, or as I just finished saying, we should be saying neutral. Our body can't be that way just by eating a food. There are many factors that come into how the body gets to a place where it is doing well. The body is a system. All the different organs work together in this system. And so we have to start looking at it that way. And then sometimes we'll be able to decipher some of these tricks. So the first organ system that we're going to have to look at today is the lungs. See that picture of the lungs? Yeah, I pulled out this anatomy book on y'all today, so you can get some real specific pictures and look at what some of these things look like actually in the body. So y'all go ahead and get ready. Give me some thumbs, give me some hearts. But I also want you to be honest with me. If something I say just doesn't make sense or you didn't catch on, let me know so I can stop and answer your question. I want you to understand I'm not doing this for any purpose other than to make sure you all understand how to decipher some of these tricks when you go on some of these sites and they're talking this alkalinity stuff. Okay. So this is what a lung looks like. And then when we go microscopic and we look down inside, you see this. Like if we were to open up somebody's chest, you would see that right there. If you would cut some of the lung away, you would see those vessels. See, that's a big blood vessel sending oxygenated blood back to the heart. That blue is the blood coming from the heart that has no oxygen. That's the purple one. The white looking things or the grayish things, that's where your oxygen is coming in. So when you breathe all the way down to the end of one of those tubes, you get to something that looks like that. That's where the exchange of the oxygen and the carbon dioxide is occurring. Now, why am I getting to that? Because we're just going a little bit more in depth. That's what it looks like on a microscopic level right there. You see here where carbon dioxide is going this way and oxygen is coming that way. Well, this is one of the places of the body where pH is taken care of. If you have too much oxygen in your body, you could be alkalinic, which will kill you. If you have too much carbon dioxide in your blood, it's too acidic and that will kill you. So there's a perfect balance. So the lungs are one of the areas that we have to talk about when we're talking about how the body stays in the natural state or the neutral state and how the body keeps the pH correct. It is not completely and mostly not on what you eat. It is mostly on these organs that we are discussing. Hope all of y'all are still with me. Now we're looking at the next system, and that is the kidneys. You see those kidneys? And I want you to pay something very close to something, because your kidneys are not way down in your back like a lot of people think. A lot of people put their hand way down, like low, almost to their butt, thinking that that's where the kidneys are, but they're not. See, your butt is way down here. If you reach behind your back and feel the lower ribs, your kidneys are protected by your ribs in the back. So that's where they are. Daima, appreciate you coming in. So your kidneys are the next organ that we'll discuss and probably the most important when it comes to how your body keeps the pH correctly. So that's the way a kidney looks when you actually cut it open. There you have your blood coming in from the bloodstream, the big blood vessel that runs down the middle of your body, sends a lot of blood to the kidneys. This blood here in the purple is coming from the GI system, and the blood that's going out back into the system to go out after it's been cleansed is in the red. This tube right here is where we make our urine and we urinate out. Okay. Now, getting a little more specific. I'm not interested in you all understanding this. I'm going through a lot of this because I want you all to understand something. A lot of times these people that you're listening to on the internet, YouTube, or whatever you're watching, these people heard somebody say something and then you repeat it because you saw it make some change. Well, unfortunately, some people are in such bad shape that they really have no idea what they're doing. Because if you have a mother and a father who teaches you based on training how to eat a certain way, and they run into serious medical problems in their life, then that's where you're headed. And so if you take a meat eating family, like a lot of us know, we know people that eat meat with every meal and they hardly ever eat vegetables. They hardly ever eat fruit. Well, if you can take that person and give them the worst of vegetables and the worst of fruits, and that person would get better. But that doesn't mean that that person is going to have good health, nor does that mean that they're going to have longevity. So that's my focus. My focus is to help you understand how to have good health and to have longevity. And, you know, although a lot of people are frustrated with the medical industry and a lot of people think that the medical industry is no good, I would agree to that in a large degree. But what I will say is that a lot of things that I studied in medical school is the benefit of that is that I can come and I can explain things like this. So Daima looked at this and she knew exactly what it is, the renal medullary system. But for the rest of you all, I'm not interested in you knowing the specifics. Just understand that when it comes to how your body maintains its pH, this is the system in the kidney. As far down as you can see now, we said this is the kidney, right? When you look at the specific part of the kidney called the glomerulus that's doing all the work, that's what it looks like. You can't see that with your naked eye. But right here is what is even more microscopic than what you can't see with your naked eye. This is the interworkings of the kidney where all of your pH and everything is balanced. All the stuff that doesn't need to stay gets put out. Everything that needs to stay is pulled back in. This is the system that does it right here. So it's not necessary, again, for you to understand all that. But what it is important for you to understand is that you're listening to somebody that didn't listen to somebody and is telling you what they heard. You're listening to somebody who thinks through how to help you understand how to take care of your body better. And so when it comes to alkalinizing your body, your lungs have to be in good shape. Your kidneys have to be in good shape. Now, how do you take care of that? You take care of that by doing all the things that I'm talking about in all of these videos. It just doesn't come down to one day. But we do have to discuss today the GI system. So let's get back to this book and then we'll get into some of the specifics of how you can make sure that your alkaline and your acidity system in your body is right so that you can live in the neutral place and be right. Okay, so here we are. We're looking at the GI system. Thank you for those shout outs, Brother Jay. Your mouth, you're chewing the food, you swallow it in your esophagus, it goes down into your stomach. Here's your stomach right there, right? And when you eat food, and let's just go to like some of these people that talk about, well, you eat alkaline foods and you eat this and you eat that. Well, regardless of what type of food you put in your stomach, the stomach digests by acid and movement. So you're producing acid and your stomach is squeezing the food like this. And that's how you break it down into small pieces so that you can absorb what's in it. So the longer it takes to digest a food, the more acid you have to make. The least it takes to digest a food, the least your acid has to be made. So that makes sense that the food that takes the longest to digest is the hardest on the body because digestion is directly tied to aging, but so is acidity and alkalinity. You know, a lot of people tell people that, you don't want to be acidic. You don't want to be acidic. That is true. It's better to be non-acidic, but it's not good to be too alkalinic either. That can cause just as much problem. So this stomach, as it is breaking down the food, it has to produce this acid. And then I want to show you another picture of the pancreas, because the pancreas is what produces, what balances out the acid. So here you have your stomach. It's just a bigger picture. And if you can see kind of that grainy thing behind there is your pancreas. But over here, they show the pancreas in its whole. And right here, you kind of see it as they move the liver out of the way. And you see the pancreas right under there. So that pancreas is behind the stomach, under the liver. And as you are breaking down your food, you're producing all this acid. And when your food starts to be broken down to a place where the body says, okay, we're ready to move to the next phase and start absorbing this, which means that you're going to take that food and you're going to start dumping it into the intestines. The intestines absorb all your nutrients, and then the large intestines gets all the water out and then gets it ready for you to what? Eliminate that into the toilet. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, you all let me know. Got a good question from Brother Kenyatta. Give me a few minutes. I'm going to get to that. But I want to finish this point first. So you have digested the food. It's in your stomach. There are a number of different reasons that your body will say, okay, this food is ready to move on to the next phase. What is that? pH. That's the first one. The second one is consistency. The food has to be broken down small enough so that when it moves into the intestines, you can absorb it. You can't see with your naked eye what you absorb. So that's how small it has to be. And then there has to be a fluidity of it so that it can be pushed and it can flow through the systems. So pH, the size of it, and then the consistency, meaning it has to be somewhat watery in order for the stomach to say, hey, okay, it's time to move from here into the intestines so we can start absorbing. Okay. Now, if you look at this picture right here, this is example. Hey, April, how you doing? Appreciate you coming in. Right here, this is a picture of, and this is not exact, but this is somewhat of a picture. This you can't see with your naked eye. Is the villi that's in the intestines and the stomach, and you absorb. This is a stomach. You make acid from here, but this is very similar to the villi that's in the intestines as well, where you're absorbing everything. Very, very small. Can't see it with your naked eye. That's how small you have to digest this stuff. This is how small it has to be before you absorb it. So this is a very, very, very important process that I'm discussing. And it's very, very, very important to the benefits of your body. Samantha, thank you for coming in. So when we are talking about moving from the stomach into the intestines, the first thing that has to happen is the pancreas has to evaluate what's going on in the stomach by its receptors. And it says, oh, that's too acidic. Because like I said, if you take this stomach acid out of your stomach right now and pour it on your leg, pour it on your arm, pour it on your skin, you're going to burn yourself. The same thing happens if you destroy the lining of the inside of the stomach, or you destroy the lining of the inside of the intestines. So the acidity of your acid and how it's broken down the food has to be, that acidity has to be brought down a little bit. It has to be made what? More alkalinic, because the intestines are not made to handle the same thing as the stomach. All right, here we go again. We're over here at stomach acid. Hope y'all are with me. If not, ask me some questions, please. Stomach acid all the way over here at 1. And we're saying that bicarbonate that the pancreas makes is way over here in the 10 and 11 area. Okay. So your food is really acidic because it was in your stomach. You're producing all this acid. You're breaking it down. But before it goes into the intestines, you got to bring that back this way. I hope y'all can see what I'm saying. You have to go back toward the neutral phase because the intestines cannot handle the same type of acidity that this stomach does. So before your body sends that food into the intestines to be absorbed, it has to start going back this way. So you see where the 1 is way over here by stomach acid. And if you put something bicarbonate that's made by the body, which is like a indigestion tablet, then that 10 mixed with that 1 is going to bring that back this way. It probably won't be all the way to 7 because the intestines can handle some acidity, and the intestines also do a little bit of digestion, but most of your digestion happens in the stomach. The best digestion happens in the stomach. And so when your body starts to move it out of the stomach into the intestines, that's the first aspect of how your body keeps you in the neutral phase, not alkaline. Your stomach is acid. Your pancreas is producing something that's alkalinic, and it's trying to keep your body right there in the middle in the neutral phase at 7.5. I hope that makes sense. Now, to what my brother asked, Kenyatta, so what is the difference between electric foods and alkaline foods? Is one better? I would say that those are terms that people use very loosely because they really don't understand what they're saying. So when people are saying things like alkaline foods, they are saying things that, like I said, they're listening to what other people say, but there's not really science behind that. The true aspect of what an alkaline food is a food that your body can manage very easily. I just finished talking about the stomach. It makes a lot of acid. Every time you eat, it has to work hard to make a lot of acid. Johnny Diggs, appreciate you coming in. And so that is what, it doesn't make a difference what you eat. If I eat a piece of meat, it takes a lot more acid to break that down than it does to eat some grapes. Most of you have had some melon in your life, watermelon, honeydew, cantaloupe. You put that in your mouth and start chewing, it's mostly water before you even swallow it. So you know the body doesn't have to do a lot to break down what you're putting in the stomach. Very easily digested. So that's where the basis of some of these things that people say alkaline foods, but they get it wrong because they think you can evaluate a food outside of the body and say that it's alkaline or not. You can't. You have to evaluate what the body can handle easily and what it can't. And that's how you determine what an alkaline food is. Daryl, appreciate you coming in. And all of this information that I'm telling you all today, I have to, of course, give the credit to where it is due. I didn't learn this in medical school. I learned this through this book right here, How to Eat to Live. And again, this is not promoting any religion. It's promoting a book that helped me get to a place where I could help you understand how to take care of your body better. So let's look at the perspective that you have some meat. You ate a steak last night, and it probably will take you 12 to 14 hours to break that steak down. Well, the whole time you're breaking that steak down, you are making acid because your body is what? Squeezing down on it, right? And it has to keep putting acid in there to keep working on that food. And so when you have something that takes a long time to digest, it takes a long time to keep making that acid to keep that breakdown process going. And then also those of you who are eating multiple meals, you have to do this multiple times a day. And so when your body starts absorbing this food, it's absorbing acid that has been neutralized by the pancreas. And so what you are absorbing into your body from your intestines is something that is still a little on the acidic side. It will probably be somewhere in the 5 to 6 range once that bicarbonate from the pancreas gets into that. And for all of you that are asking about alkaline water, I'm going to get in that in just a minute. I'm probably going to make some people upset. David, appreciate you coming in. Samantha, appreciate you coming in, but I'm going to get to that alkaline water in just a minute. Okay. So you're absorbing your food now. It is a little acidic, but that's the way the intestines can handle it. But what that also means is that your body is absorbing something that is a little acidic as well. Right? Thank you, Brother Joe. So that means that every time you eat, you put the body into somewhat of an acidic phase. So that's why this man says that the more meals you eat, the closer you get yourself to death. Because as I said just a while ago, this system, the GI system, the more it works, the more you age. The more acidic you are, the more you age. And so every time you eat, you have to produce acid. Every time you absorb acidic stuff into the body, then the kidney has to get to work. We talked about the kidney a little while ago. The kidneys have to get to work. The lungs have to get to work to do what? To put the pH back together. Not alkaline, but trying to get you back to neutral. So all this alkalinic diet and all this kind of stuff, it's really kind of an ignorant puppet type thing. People are just repeating what they hear other people say. But what you're really trying to do is put the type of foods in your body that allow you to make less stomach acid. The less stomach acid you make, the less work your body has to do, the less bicarbonate you have to produce. And that way, your body is mostly staying in the neutral phase. That's where you live very comfortably. That's where your body doesn't have to do a lot of work. That's where your body doesn't age. That's why when people talk this alkalinic stuff, it's not that your body can kill cancer and keep from disease in alkalinic. Your body doesn't disease in the neutral phase. You can't feed cancer in the neutral phase. You can get cancer in the alkalinic phase. That's abnormal. But it happens more in this phase because this is where people are doing most of their mistakes. The people that listen to people that say eat 5 meals a day. I don't know anybody that lives long eating 5 meals a day. I don't know anybody that lives long eating a vegan lifestyle. If they are, please tell me, because I've been researching the oldest person that's been a vegan, and that was Jack LaLanne. He didn't even make it to 100. I'm not trying to put him down. He probably did the best he knew how. But I have science. I've been taught, I've been studying for years to be able to discuss these type of things and make it make sense. And so while I'm on this pH scale, before I get to the foods, I want to talk about this alkaline water craze. Because a lot of times when people are talking about alkaline water, they're talking about alkaline water over here in the 10 and 11 area. And so when you drink alkaline water, you have put an alkalinic substance in your body. Your body wants to get back to neutral. So now what does it have to do? It has to hold on to acid in order to bring the pH back. When you drink 10 and 11 pH water in a body that's at 7, your body is doing what now? Going towards the alkaline phase. Is that good? No, the body wants to live here. So when you drink alkaline water, you're taking the body in this direction. The way the body balances itself, it has to start holding on to some type of acid. Now, where does the acid come from? Mostly waste material. Carbon dioxide, what we're breathing out, that's waste material. Lactic acid, when you work out and your muscles get sore, that's waste material. The stuff that we defecate and urinate and blow out of our nose, all of that is waste material. So you want to hold on to waste material. You have to hold on to waste material. You have to hold on to acid in the body in order to in order to neutralize alkalinity. So no, drinking alkaline water is not good for you. Drinking alkaline water puts the body in a acidic state in order to bring the body back to neutral. The best thing you can do is find water the way God made it. The way God's water is what it says right here, water, seawater. Seawater is about 8.5. Water that comes out of springs in the earth are usually around 7.5. That's where you want to be when you drink water, somewhere in the 7 to 8 range, which is what spring water is. That's the way God made water. The way they make alkaline water is they take spring water or other types of water and they put it in a machine and they electrolyze it. And it kills everything live in it. That's what makes your water pH go high. Dead stuff in water. Water's supposed to be live, living. Go to any river, any lake. Look at all the life that's around there. And you go, in your backyard or on your front porch or in your neighborhood, and you look at some of that water that fell yesterday from the rain. It's puddling in the lowest spots, but there's no movement of that water. There's no life in that water. It's sitting on concrete or asphalt, and you start seeing it become nasty looking in a few days, right? So you want live water in your body. Alkaline water is a trick, and they make a lot of money with that. You cannot get your body neutralized by drinking alkalinic water. You get your body neutralized by making sure that your lungs work well, making sure that your kidneys work well. How do you do that? Those two organs are highly dependent on being hydrated correctly. So when you drink the right amount of water, you have a good working lung system and you have a good working kidney system. And that's where your pH is going to be good. Rashid, appreciate you coming in. So that is how you take care of that. Now, I hope I've answered and made some sense with all of that. And if not, send me some questions. Now I'm about to get to the food. When you are eating food, look, I want you all to understand. that when I come on here and do the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday, that really is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help you transform your life. I don't have anything for sale. At the end of this talk, I'm not going to say, hey, send me $19.99 a month so you can get on my website. No, my website is free. This is free. My YouTube channels are free. But I have to be honest with you all. Every time I go and I study, the thing that I wind up doing is coming back and bearing more witness to this book. 2-part series, 119 pages in the first book, 192 pages in the second book. And I know a lot of people that may listen to this may say, well, you're trying to promote religion. No, I'm trying to promote health. And so when I look at this vegan craze and this alkaline craze, and you can go and do the research after I finish talking and find what I'm saying or disprove what I'm saying or look at all the other people that are out there saying this. I don't fear any retribution. I'm trying to tell the truth based on 22 years of experience. Every food that I researched that this man mentions in this book is very easy for you to digest. He mentions that all fruit is good for you. My only caveat in that statement is make sure that they have seeds in them, because I'm sure when he wrote the book, which it was during the 40s, 50s, and the 60s, there weren't a lot of seedless fruits. But why would you eat a seedless grape? Why would you eat a seedless watermelon? Those are both very, very nutritious food. Some of the best fruits you can put in your body. Fruits are some of the best foods you can put in your body. And it takes very little energy to digest it, meaning that you are getting all the electricity out of that food. Kenyatta, your question, the electricity you can associate with the colors. You know, you go out into nature and you look around in nature and you see yellow stuff and you see red stuff and you see orange stuff and you see purple stuff. That is electricity. That's coming straight from the sun. Plants produce their fruit or their food based on photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a process that occurs in plants that is 100% from direct electricity from the sun. So when you eat a food that's fresh and you chew it and you swallow it, that electricity is going in you. And then when you go out and you get some sunshine, now you double and triple your electricity and the energy in your body because the sun works on you that well too. So I hope I'm answering your question about electricity, Brother Kenyatta, but electric food are the foods that are most at peace with your body. That's when you're at the best place. The foods that are easiest to digest. And what are those? Basically, navy beans when it comes to protein, because you do not need to eat meat in order to get protein. You can get all the protein you need and the best protein for your body with navy beans and raw milk. When it comes to fruit, as I said, all fruit is good. Just make sure that they have seeds in them, because if you're eating seedless fruit, you are trusting somebody that is, really that food is a lie. That food is devil. Devil, the word devil just means something that has been grafted from original. There is no way that a fruit can be produced without a seed. So if it's a seedless fruit, then that means man is involved somewhere. That's grafted food. That is something that is different from the original. Stay away from that. So fruits with seeds. When it comes to your vegetables, you should not be eating a lot of green leafy vegetables. And the way that you know yourself that that's not good for you is go ahead and eat some today, tomorrow, whenever you want to. Just test me on this. Get some kale, get some greens, some collards and some turnip greens. Cook that the way you like them and eat them. And then watch your stool over the next 2 or 3 days. You'll see green stuff in the stool. But yet you don't see that with cabbage. Don't see that with broccoli. Don't see that with green beans. Don't see that with okra. Don't see that with Brussels sprouts. That is proof to you that you can digest the Brussels sprout and the cabbage and the green bean and the okra and the whatever other green food I said. I'm losing it out. But when you defecate out that green stuff, it's because you can't digest it. Now, what does that mean? Your body, your stomach was trying very hard to digest it. So, you had to keep producing more and more acid. Why? Because it's in your stomach and the body is churning it. It's like, damn, I can't get this stuff to break down. Give me some more acid. Let me squeeze on it some more. And then you eventually wind up going all through this system, which does all this absorption, and you still have to defecate it out as green because you can't absorb what you can't digest. And the foods that are green that you can digest, you absorb it and you don't see green come out. So at the end of the day, the foods that are easiest for you to digest are the ones, Renee, appreciate you coming in, are the ones that you have proof that do you well. And so just to name some other foods, if I were you all and you want, like, of course, we're in Ramadan, I talk about how great your body can benefit in a Ramadan, just 30 days. We got 23 left. But in general, those of you who just want better health, you have to start eating the type of foods that are best for your health. And again, I'm talking about the intestines absorbing what you can't see. So what you are doing is trying to eat on a cellular level, meaning that you have to chew your food well. The more you chew your food, the less stomach acid you have to produce because you don't have to break it down as much. It's not that hard. Make sense? I hope it does. So the more you chew your food and the better foods that you put in your body and the foods that are easiest to digest that you put in your body that are high quality nutrients in them, then you are taking care of your health on a whole nother level and a whole nother place of being disease free. You don't have to worry about cancer if you're eating like I'm talking about today, nor high blood pressure, nor diabetes, nor high cholesterol, nor having heart attacks, nor having a stroke, nor having scleroderma or lupus or sarcoidosis or kidney failure or liver failure. The things can happen. The body starts to become more acidic. The body starts to go in this direction when you start doing foods like junk foods, eating those chips and those candy bars and drinking those energy drinks and eating donuts and candy and stopping by and getting a kolache on the way to work and drinking all that coffee and eating a lot of meat and eating a lot of processed foods, meaning that when you go to the grocery store, you walking up and down the aisles buying stuff in packages because you think you can trust in people, or you don't take the time to cook and prepare your own meals. And so you are winding up putting your body over here. And so even the reason why anybody would have it even start talking about why you need to alkalinize is because people are so far over here that they're trying to get you to come back this way. But that's false teaching. That's not the way the body works. What you have to do is stop doing the type of things that cause you to be over here and bring your body back here and put your body at peace. Andy asked, what about fruits that give you gas? Excellent question. Now we're taking it to a whole nother level with that question, Brother Andy, because I usually don't talk about food combinations because most people don't have enough knowledge on how to do things from a basic perspective where I have to go into depth about food combinations. But the only reason that fruit would cause you gas is because you're eating it with other types of foods that don't digest in the same manner. And the sugars in the fruit stay in your stomach in a long period of time. And just like making beer, just like making wine, just like making liquor, it produces gas. So at the end of the day, what you have to do with fruit is eat fruit by itself. I eat fruit almost every day. But what I do is I eat fruit usually a couple of hours, and probably not that long, maybe an hour, 45 minutes before I eat my other food. I either do fruit or I'll do a fruit smoothie, but I always separate that from my meal from about 45 minutes to an hour. Why? Because as I finished saying, when you chew on fruit, very easy to digest. It's almost finished in your mouth, but the stomach still has to do some work. But when that goes down into your stomach, very easy to process. You get your stuff out of there very easily, and it moves on out of the stomach into the intestines. Now the body starts saying, okay, let me get all this good stuff out of this fruit. But if you eat a piece of fruit with navy beans, it takes navy beans about 5 hours to digest, 4 or 5 hours. So that fruit is just sitting in there churning with the navy bean. Or if you eat a piece of meat with a fruit, and you can break down fruit in 30, 45 minutes, but you ate some fruit with a piece of meat, you got that sugar just sitting in that stomach, right? Let's look at the stomach again. So y'all see what I'm doing? It's just sitting, just rotating back and forth in that stomach, right? As that stomach, let me get a better picture. I want the picture where y'all can see what the stomach look like open up. Stomach opened up, right? See all those little lines in there? That stomach is just, it's just squeezing and pushing and squeezing. So you have that sugar from that fruit bouncing around in there for hours and hours and it already has been digested, it starts producing gas. It's a fermentation process, as I said, just like making beer, making wine, making liquor. And so you don't want fruit to bounce around in your stomach for long periods of time. So you have to eat sweet fruits together. You shouldn't mix acidic fruits with sweet fruits. And then you have some fruits that are called subacid fruits, which you can mix with acid or sweet fruits. But that's a subject for another time because it would take me time to get in that. But I just wanted to answer your question, Andy. I hope I did. Brother Joe asked, what causes heartburn? What causes heartburn is that all of these systems that we're talking about, whether we go to the lung, I lost one. Now there we are. The lungs. You can't breathe well with a dry lung. You don't believe me? Run out to the desert and just start running around for a long period of time and don't hydrate yourself and see how hard it becomes to breathe. That system that we just finished talking about, the GI system, if you put your finger in your mouth, I want y'all to see this. If you put your finger in your mouth, what do you feel? It's wet. You put your finger on your tongue. It's wet. The system is that way all the way through. So if you're dehydrated, this system doesn't work well. And I know everybody knows that if you don't drink enough water, your kidneys are going to go bad. So if you don't drink enough water, your kidney system is not correct. All right. So when we get specific into why a person gets heartburn, you're welcome, Andy. You have to look at this GI system as a whole. So let's go back to this picture of the GI system. Mouth, esophagus. You're swallowing down your esophagus into your stomach. Okay? Now, I just finished saying that you have to make acid to digest. This whole system has to stay wet. So when you get gastroesophageal reflux or heartburn, what's happening is the system is dry. It's not working correctly because the system is doing like this all the way through. From the mouth all the way to your anus, your body is doing what we call peristaltic movement, all in one direction. Everything is to move in this direction, all going down the system and out. And so when the system is dry, one of the first things that stops happening is it stops moving correctly. So gastroesophageal reflux is mostly a process of dehydration for extended periods of time, meaning that the food is trying to go in the right direction, but because things are not all working in alignment with each other, you may have one part of your system trying to push and this system down here is dry and it's like, man, I'm chilling. I ain't trying to work right now. So you pushing against something ain't trying to work and it starts trying to go in the wrong direction. Stomach can be the same thing. If the stomach is overworked, if the stomach has been digestion for 2,000 years because you eat 3 and 4 or 5 meals a day and you never give your body a break, sometimes it can get dry out. Shima, appreciate you coming in. And so when the whole system is dried out, it is really trying to work, but it can't work. So it starts pushing in the opposite direction. That's to a certain degree. I could get a lot more specific. I don't want to do that, but that is in essence what heartburn and gastroesophageal reflux. If you listen to my post on how to hydrate yourself correctly, you could solve that problem very quickly. Denise asked a question. How do you know when you have drunk enough water? Excellent question, because that goes a lot into what we're talking about today. When we're talking about keeping the body wet, not alkaline, but neutral. I want us all to change our thought process and our words that come out of our mouth. Let's stop saying, I want to get my body alkaline. No, you don't. You want your body to be neutral. Now, Sister Denise's question is so wonderful because as you see, again, right there in the middle is water. That's where you want to live. Your life. Water means life. You have to really make that statement penetrable into your soul and your mind. Water is life. And when you live by water, live at the pH of water, the neutral pH, your life is at its best. So how do you determine how much water you need to drink? You determine that based on your urine. So those of us that are practicing Ramadan, it would not be a good idea for you to try to figure out how much water to drink during Ramadan because you're going many hours without drinking water. What you have to do when you're not in Ramadan, and those of you who aren't practicing Ramadan, you determine how much water you need by looking at your urine all through the day. When you wake up in the morning, your body was resting all night, trying to fix a lot of things, getting rid of waste. So when you wake up in the morning, that should be your darkest urine. Your urine for the rest of the day should either be light yellow or clear. And that's how you determine how much water you need to drink. It would be a lie if I said drink 8-ounce glasses of water. I'm looking at the people that are on here, the ones that I know. We're all different sizes. Some of us work outside. Some of us work inside. You can't tell everybody to drink the same amount of water. Every person has to evaluate how much water you need to drink by doing your own experimentation. Start off with saying that you're going to drink maybe 3 bottles of water or 4 bottles during a whole day, just sipping periodically through the day, and watch your urine. If your urine stays clear all day, then you know 4 bottles is good for you. But if you sip on 4 bottles of water during the day and your urine has been dark orange or yellow all day, that's not enough water for you. Increase your water. Figure out how much you need for you. I know how much I need because I've done the experiment on myself. You have to do it on yourself. Yes, when you listen to this brother here at the Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday, I don't give you tricks. I don't give you lies. I don't try to sell you anything. Good health comes by doing work. It takes work, just like every other aspect of your life. If you're good at what you do, it's because you either went somewhere and studied, or you've been doing it for a long time, worked your butt off to get good. Well, it's going to take the same thing to have good health. Work. You have to get to know yourself. You have to get to know how your body works by paying attention and then doing the type of experimentation that gives you the answers that you need. I hope that makes sense. So for me, I know how much water I need to drink if I'm going to be sitting inside all day. And I know how much water I need to drink if I go out and do my workouts. And I like to work out in the middle of the day, 10, 11, 12, 1 o'clock when it's hot. That's when I go work out because I get out there and get my air, the oxygen from its source out there at the park with all them trees, right? We talked about the lungs being part of the keeping your body what? Not alkaline, but what? I know you're all saying it with me. Neutral. Yes, oxygen, large part of that. So get outside and do your workouts outside so you can breathe that oxygen. I'm not telling you to stop working out in a building with an air conditioner on a machine. If that's the best for you, do that. But find some time to get out there and breathe around those trees. That's a large part of keeping you very healthy. Marklin, appreciate you coming in. Sister Denise, did I answer your question? I want to make sure I answered your question, but you know, that is a thing that you have to do yourself in figuring out how much water you need by watching your urine and then coming up with the amount that you need for yourself in hot environments and cool environments. Okay. I got another question from Brother David. Is there a acid alkaline difference in raw milk and 2% milk? Man, that is actually a very good question. And I've never had that asked before, brother. You making me think today. Is there an acid alkaline difference in raw milk and 2% milk? No, I don't believe there would be an acid alkaline mix. But the difference between raw milk and 2% milk, the first thing would be that raw milk has all of the fat. So if you were comparing 2% milk to raw milk, it would be 100% milk to 2% milk. In 2% milk, they supposedly have taken all the fat out and they just left 2% in there. But let's also understand that if you go buy milk out the grocery store and it says 2% and anything like that, then it's been pasteurized, it's been homogenized. Pasteurization is a heating process, which means you have a bunch of dead bacteria in your milk. Homogenization processes when they put it in these vats and they spin it, make all the proteins stick together, meaning you got a lot of dead protein in your milk. So when you go to the regular grocery store and you drink 2% milk or whole milk or whatever you get that's pasteurized and homogenized, the acidity level of that is higher than normal milk because of the fact that you have a lot of dead stuff in it. And dead stuff, like I said earlier, is waste material. Waste material has an acidity level to it. So stay out of the store buying that milk. You got to find some place where you can drink good whole milk from a cow. And matter of fact, thank you for the question because I'm going to talk about raw milk next Tuesday. That's a good subject and something that we need to discuss because I want to make sure that everybody understands the good things about milk, the reason why scriptures say drink milk, and why it's so beneficial for your body and should be in everybody's repertoire as far as their diet, which means, if you're really understanding where I'm coming from, is that you automatically have to take vegan out of your mind if you want good health. That's from my perspective. I'm not trying to down anybody that's vegan or cause any controversy. We'll talk about that next week when we talk about raw milk. Let me get to the last few comments and questions. Let me see. Andy, you said you mentioned raw milk. I'm assuming you're saying cow's milk. How good, bad is almond milk? Almond milk is horrible. I'll include that in next week. I've never seen any almond make milk. So you know automatically almond milk got to be a trick. But we'll get into that next week. I know a lot of people are drinking that, thinking that it is good for you. Jeffrey Andrews, my brother, how you doing? Appreciate you coming in. Herman Park is a great place to work out. You are absolutely right. I love Herman Park. I used to run there a lot, live a little far away from there now, but that is an excellent point. When you all go to Herman Park, if you go to that park over there off of Washington with Memorial Park, all of those trees and dirt and grass, flowers, plants, those are the best places to work out. Thank you. Wonderful point, Jeffrey. Okay, let me see. I love milk. Should the raw meat be boiled first? No, the raw milk should not be boiled first. We'll get into that next week when we talk about the type of questions that you have to ask when you're going to a farm to try to get your milk. There's some very serious questions that you need to ask so that you will not get yourself caught up in drinking some stuff that is really bad. I see Lawrence and Shaolin Soldier and Jamil. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you to everybody who came in today. I hope right before we close, you all just let me know, did I clear up this whole alkaline thing? Did I give you some new information? Have I empowered you? Do you feel like you got some information that you can use? Because that's what we're about here at the Ultimate Wellness Group, Transformation Tuesday, giving you news that what you can use. So let's get last point in one more time. What is it? Get your life neutral. So in order to get that way, my suggestion is you buy this book and read it and then start trying to apply it. And when you get this book and you start reading it and you try to apply it, you can always ask me if you have any questions, because I don't think there's anything better on the planet Earth that is a plan for you to have good health now, tomorrow, and a long time in the future, because you're looking at somebody who plans to be here for a couple of 100 years. I'm not saying that for any applause, no accolades. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I want to prove what this man is saying and dispel all these other things that people are saying out here that have no scientific basis. And that's why I went into the depth that I went in today with the the lungs and the kidneys and the GI system, so that you all can see the science behind this. See, I'm proving that what this body can do from the perspective of looking in to the science of the body. A lot of these people that are so-called health gurus that you find on the internet, they're repeating what somebody else said. They're just talking heads. It's like a puppet, but they can't explain the information. And so that's what I'm trying to do. So anybody that this type of information is the antithesis of, well, you have to do your own research. Because I'm not going to get into any back and forth. I'm pretty sure, Danny, appreciate you coming in. I am absolutely sure that I am trying to give the right type of information, because the people that are coming to see me are not keeping these medical problems that they have. When they come to me, they have them, and most of them are solving the problems in a very short period of time. So no, I don't pat myself on the back. I give all the credit where it is due, and that's to that man in that book. There's something very special why that book says from God in person. Again, this is not about religion. This is about just trying to understand that after being in the medical field for as many years as I have been, that I have to come to admitting that and giving you all the best information that I can. So I think that's it for today. We've been on for an hour. I thank you all for tuning in. Again, I pray that you got some good information, some news that you can use. I hope you've been empowered. And I hope you continue to come back. We'll be back next Tuesday, same place, same time. The Ultimate Wellness Group Transformation Tuesday. Next week, we'll be talking about that good raw milk. So bring your questions. Go out there and find all the things that these people are saying negative. And we're going to have a real conversation like we did today. But next week, it'll be about the milk. So until next week, stay on the journey. Stay strong. Keep doing the work. As long as your mind is on your health, your health is on your mind. Peace.